Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Kaylin and I'm doing a no-buy month for October, and I just wanted to share some more frugal tips, like things we do to save money as a family and see if it helps anyone out. And excuse the lack of makeup, I'm about to go swimming, so sorry if it's like a scene from a horror movie. Yeah, I am just trying to find the motivation right now for getting in a cold pool, but I know once I get there and I get started I'll love it. But it's just that moment of getting in and it's like absolutely freezing. I never seem to get better at that. First tip that I have to help you save money is spend less time online, which is kind of ironic to say while I'm making a YouTube video, but anyway, I do have days where I try to have screen-free time, and it might be even like a screen-free hour or a screen-free day. I find it helpful to put my phone physically out of reach during those times so that I don't kind of pick it up like without even being aware of what I'm doing. I find the more time I spend off social media, the less tempted I am to buy things, because I'm not bombarded with adverts and I'm not seeing what other people are doing. And sometimes I think social media can make you feel like you're missing out if you don't keep up with all of the events that everyone you can see are going to, or like all of the things that you're supposed to be buying, or just I find their ads really targeted. They're really well tailored to specific people. They know exactly what you will be interested in buying as an individual, and they're really good at tempting you basically, so it's easier to just stay off it completely. My second tip for saving money is to get the Kindle app on your phone if you don't already have a Kindle, or on your iPad if you have one. I don't have an iPad. I have a Kindle that is so old, I'm surprised it's still alive. Like, I've probably had it for 10 years and it's been used a lot. It's been through a lot and probably been dropped a lot as well, but it's still somehow working. It's just a paperwhite one, and yeah, it's been so useful for like traveling. And although I'm more of a paperback person, like I like it for whenever I'm out and about. And I have the Kindle app on my phone for things like, I have found it really useful if we're at a playground and I haven't thought ahead to bring a book, and I can just like take it out while the girls are busy playing and have a read. And if you search for free classics on Amazon, there are so many, like pretty much every classic novel that you could want is on there for free on Kindle. So even if you don't have a Kindle, get one on your phone. The third tip that I have for saving money, and this applies to me probably more than anyone, is instead of buying new plants, water the ones you have. Like, spend more time like looking after the plants that you have and making sure that they're thriving than going out and collecting new ones. And it can be really tempting to buy new plants when you see them in the shop and they are just like unique, and they also probably are in excellent condition because they've been looked after by someone who knows what they're doing with plants. But I personally have to put more time into caring for the plants I have, and like basically make sure they're in good condition before I go out and get extra ones. And you can also make plant babies from the plants you already have. I know you can take cuttings and you can like let them dry out and then plant them in soil and let them like grow roots again. So that's something I might experiment with this month, since I'm doing the no-buy and I already have some soil in the shed and plant pots. My next tip, number 4, is to look through websites. Spend time digging through specific websites of like individual organizations to look for the lesser known events, because they tend to be free or cheaper than the like highly advertised ones. Like for example, there's a pumpkin patch near my house that is very well like marketed, and you see posters for it everywhere and you hear about it everywhere. But then there's a place in town that has free community events on every week, and I never see any marketing for it. I have to go onto their specific website to find what events they have on and kind of dig for it to find it. So sometimes it's worth putting in the extra time to do that, and you find events that are less crowded too. Tip number 5 is to use fairy lights and natural light when you can, and candles more often than electric lights, because I think you can easily fall into a trap of buying lamps that go everywhere and they look really pretty and it makes the place cozy, but I think you can get that like ambience without putting in so much money. And I actually bought some reusable batteries recently for my fairy lights because I felt like I was wasting so many batteries just keeping them going, and batteries are expensive too and it's just better for the environment. So I think fairy lights and like candles, wax melts and things, if you have any of those around the house, they create a nice atmosphere, and it uses less electricity. My next tip, number 6, is to go for simple functionality in your home over impressive like aestheticism. Like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure nowadays to have a perfect looking home and for it to be aesthetically pleasing in every way. Even like the corners that you wouldn't want anyone to look in are supposed to be pretty. And I think that that doesn't really matter. If you like your home and you're able to live in it and it doesn't make you stressed and it's a place that comforts you, that's all that matters. And someone else's idea of like how your home should look doesn't matter in the end of the day. They don't live in your house and you don't have to have like a Pinterest home to have a good home. And tip number 7 is to learn to make your own bread, and this doesn't have to be anything elaborate like sourdough. I think people can get really intimidated by bread making because they're presented with ways of doing it that are so complicated. And I actually tried to make my own sourdough starter once and it died, so it wasn't like what I found to be an easy process, and it was a little bit for me like keeping plants alive. Like, I'm just not amazing at it. And you can make really easy loaves of bread. There's a no knead bread by Frugal Fit Mom where that you don't even have to knead, you just stir it and leave it for a longer period of time to rise. I make a simple loaf that is just like plain white bread and it's so easy to throw together. Like, you do need to knead it, but you can kind of just like go about your day and come back to it when you need to attend to it. And I learned how to make bread from a girl called Jack, which is a cookery book from years ago, where a single mom was making food for herself and her kid for £10 a week, and it just introduced me to it in a really accessible way where it didn't encourage you to get extra equipment. You don't need a bread maker, you don't need fancy equipment to make bread, you just need your hands and a few simple ingredients, and you can always add in more and increase your bread making like abilities as time goes on and you get more confident with it. Tip number 8 is to go to charity events that are held in your area, and this isn't the reason that I think you should go to them. I just think that they're a nice way to kind of connect with your community and get involved in what's happening in your area. But a benefit from going to them is there tend to be lots of organisations there that are handing out free canvas bags, like pens, stationery for school, like key rings, like we've got reusable cups from them before. We've got like those compost bags for free, and different like food waste reduction products too, like a measuring cup for rice and for pasta, to get the portion sizes correct. And there's just so much that they're giving away, and you can learn more about the organizations while you're there and get chatting to people too. So it's like, it's beneficial in every way. My next tip is to go to charity shops or thrift stores and look for DVDs. Even if you don't have a DVD player, if you have an Xbox or something like that, you can use it to watch them, and they quite often sell for about 50p here in charity shops, and you can find such a huge range of films. They are so cheap that you can even just like, it's cheaper to buy it than it used to be to rent a DVD, and you can then return it to the charity shop if you want when you're finished with it, so it's not like you're not just accumulating clutter. But it's just so easy to find cheap films to watch, and I don't think that DVD sections of charity shops are really looked at very much here anymore because everybody's moved on to streaming and things. But actually, if you want a really cheap film or there's a specific older film that you want to watch, it's easiest to find it there sometimes. And my last tip is to go through phases of banning yourself from shops that make you spend too much money. You can really easily identify what these shops are by going through your bank statement from the last couple of months and just highlighting. Like, you can print it if you want or just type it in somewhere. You can just scan through it and see where you've spent the most money, where you've made the most impulse purchases, like where you might have called into unplanned, or you might have gone for one product and come out with 30, and just like ban yourself completely for a period of time and see how much you manage to save just from doing that. It's actually amazing how much money I save whenever I ban myself from going to B&M and Home Bargains and shops like that, because I just get sucked in, and the displays just, they make me think of things I hadn't thought to buy before I entered the shop. So I find that I usually regret those purchases, or they're not well made and they don't last a long time. So it's just better sometimes to completely avoid the temptation of it in the first place. I hope these tips are helpful to someone, and I find it really fun actually coming up with like tips to save money, and it reminds me of things that I like to do, and it makes it into a game. So if you want me to share any more, let me know, and feel free to share any frugal tips you have below as well if you want me to share those at some point in the future. And yeah, I'm gonna try and work myself up now to go swimming. I've got my pumpkin latte, which I kind of forgot about because I was talking, so I'm gonna have that quickly and then get ready to go. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you soon. Bye.